Hello, I'm Rob Deb, and welcome to tonight's edition of A Book at Deb Time. Today we've got The Unbegotten by Bill Garnett, written in 1982. This is very much the sort of Rosemary's Baby, spawned by Sean Hudson, evil pregnancy kind of tale. Um, Quite slim, yet quite dull. I'll give you a bit from the blurb. Susan Sheldon is secretly expecting twins, but decides to turn her back on motherhood. Instead, she concentrates on her job in advertising and her love affair with an older colleague. But the ghost of the unbegotten won't rest quiet, and very soon they come to claim her. Right. And growing unseen, they start to play some terrifying games like messing up the flat and mutilating the cat and driving mummy mad. Um, Bloody drove me mad. 160 pages. You've got 160 pages. Um, the biggest event is the cat killing at page 100. Uh, Couple of lines in between. It could be sold as this is all in her head. This could have been hysteria. This could have been mental health. This could have been all of those things. It's kind of seeded in there, but this is completely so. If this book had been sold as some sort of thriller, then it could have worked. Page 130. Oh, none of this stuff had happened until she'd had that abortion. Maybe that was why. You can't. You can't do that. You can't do that. Um, in a weird way, the stuff that I would say made this interesting, it's not a good read by any right, is that the issue and the circumstances are twofold here. One, we're talking about abortion, women's rights. We are talking about uh I myself am pro-choice. There you go. There's a simple answer to that. Also, the emergence of middle class women, not quite of a certain age. Susan is feeling her age at 27. One of the parts of this is that the younger model who is coming up behind the ranks behind her, she's like, oh, she's such a bitch. Susan is also very attractive. We know this because she has very luscious legs. Her co-worker occasionally, frequently, grabs her boobs while they're having meetings. And she goes, I just need to make sure I read this before he does. One of these days, I'm going to have to kick him in the balls. In fact, there's an almost weird Rosie Dixon esque level to her life where prior to the pregnancy, she's let's have a look. Here we go. This is the bit that really got me. I mean, Bill has in a weird way, to his credit, um acknowledged that she's in for a shit show of a business, being a woman working in advertising. Advertising itself is fills up so much of this. I've been trying to find out if Bill was working in advertising at the time. This smacks of a one of James Herbert's colleagues who said, "Go on, give us a publisher's number. I got big balls too." Because this is the height of advertising. This is the early 80s yuppies, the socially mobile working class, socially mobile women within these newfound stratas before it all just got shot to hell. By the time I turned up, they were saying, yeah, we don't need your kind. Yeah, just a spot of indigestion. What can I do for you? Grateful for once. This is her about her co-worker. Now, because he's arty, went to art college, he gets to be more working class. I don't know if you knew that was one of the rules. Grateful for once that he'd started work without some reference to the lusciousness of her legs. He gave him a non-committal smile and picked up the layout. She studied it quickly. She knew if she took too long, he'd be up on his feet, and seconds later, despite the fact she had little enough to get hold of, would try to get his hands on her breasts. That's page 8. That's page 8. We're already figuring this one out. She then has a bloke just get the horn on the tube and rub himself off on her bum. Uh, Unable to turn, she tried to edge away, but was blocked by bodies around her to take the pressure off. But the creature behind her followed, keeping the contact. Now, that is grim. That is a slice of everyday sexism molestation there. What gets me is this following paragraph once she gets home. The poor man probably couldn't help it and might well have been mortified with embarrassment. He wasn't, and he didn't. That all of that is bollock. What is this? So in terms of those, oh, there's also an element where she goes for a dirty weekend with the boss, stands around in a cardigan, and then one of the old farmer Giles is leering at her, and she literally goes, "Oh my God, he may have seen my pubis." That's not a word. There we go. She'd just been into an armchair overlooking the garden when the doorbell rang. Oh yeah. We also live in a world where the man that she's sleeping with, her boss, the older man, and all that comes with it, everyone knows is wrong. Everyone knows she shouldn't, but ha 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 ho. She weirdly becomes a Stepford wife throughout this, and none of that is really questioned. She becomes fraught. She's worried about being frigid. She's worried about the younger model, and she hates the cat. At one moment, she's dressed up sexy before he comes home in a slinky number, and yep, has decided not to wear any underwear. She's wearing stockings though, because that's what drives men wild. Apparently, Charlie Bond is banned from the comments, but he brings back clients whose eyes are all over her. And I'm not going to say much more, but I suspect there was an editor involved who said, no, that the way you've described, there's something in the writing here where you go, given it was 1982, I'm not saying that there were necessarily investors from another part of the world, but there's a way that's written is a bit, are you being served? She remembered and felt herself flushing. Covering her embarrassment as best she could, she rapidly excused herself and went to put on underwear. Mm. The cat is grim. The cat death is grim, but it's mostly been smells and oils. That's the if you want a book about corporate marketing, um, how women, middle class women, particularly at this point, are placed into incredibly precarious situations. Uh, the sad reality of getting an abortion just into and again, this is one of the things. It could be that she's been taking these certain branded drugs which have resulted in thalidomide-like children. That's in there. Doesn't even give a brand to it. Doesn't even go full scanners with that story. Oh, she took that for a cold she had the other day. Doesn't go anywhere with it. The fact that she, while she has the abortion, she's put under in her ears, oh my God, they're alive. That doesn't go anywhere with it. Nothing is explained. Nothing to keep her from sleep now. In the darkness, she remembered all, yeah. Oh, she spends a lot of time being wet and tired, which, I'm in my 40s. And I live in London. So that's just life. So there is a social element to this, I'd argue, if you try it, but I'm really trying to dig merit here. Frankly, the writing style is so poor. Oh, and at the end, there is a description. Finally, there's a description of these creatures. Um, their faces were almost fleshless. Their tiny naked bodies, not those of children, but massively genitaled and obscene. I None of that really, but yeah, okay, no. And at the end, the girl who she thinks has been sleeping with her boyfriend, lover, older man, comes round to that house. He's dead. She's dead. It looks like she's killed him under the house. But then she feels a tug at her skirt and two voices speaking in unison, Mummy, proving that there were indeed evil goblin ghost creatures who killed a cat. She put it in a bin and then the bin went missing. Oh, she tries to have sex with her ex who he dumped. Um, There's a lot about advertising. There's a lot about marketing premonitions and posturings. It is so Londonist of its time. This is Tory Wankerville of that time. Everyone's divorced. Everyone's drinking G and T's. Um, this is, if anything, more to do with Madman than my bum. So I'd avoid it. There wasn't anything particularly redeeming at the time. The fact that I read this so quickly just shows you how much of this was admin. It was admin without commentary. That bit about the dress was probably the most comical moment in it. The violence is just not so much violence as just found a dead cat. No real anxieties, nothing that goes beyond that. Um, this 10 minutes has saved you three tube rides without someone trying to rub themselves off on you. So there is that.